I would like to say that this number we had the good fortune of doing just recently in Washington, D.C., for our chief executive, the President of the United States, and it was a big thrill. I know right away people now in the audience, you can get their heads turning a little bit. You see a little bit. People say, well, of course, for the President, because with he and the group he travels with, they're at the White House every day. No. Let me tell you that it was the first time that I've ever had the pleasure of actually meeting our chief executive, and what a thrill it was, ladies and gentlemen, because I don't care what your political affiliations might be, whether you be a Republican or a Democrat, to meet the President of the United States is something, I'm telling you, it's too much. And we went to do a show there, see? We went to Washington just to do the show. And afterwards they told us that you're going to, official request, and I figured, hey, this is a gas, Then I started to think to myself, well, what do you say to the President if he should happen to come back? We had been told that there's a chance that maybe after the show, if he has a moment, he'll come back and say hello to all of the performers and the musicians. And I said, what do you say to the President? What do you say to a man like this? See, and I had a problem because in the school I went to in Harlem, the teacher never said, in case you meet the President. So we did the show, and we did this number, and he particularly, I could watch him. He's sitting on a dais, and I watched him, and he really liked the number with Michael, thought he was fantastic and everything. We stood backstage, see, after the show, like this, because he's going to come back now, see. And I started to shake, because it really, I'm not kidding, it was exciting, sweaty palms, everything. And he walked back, and he looked so distinguished and such a magnificent man, really, to look at. And I stood there. Now, as I'm kidding a little bit, because I must tell you that I did not take the chance of not knowing what to say. I prepared myself, knowing full well that we would get a chance, if opportunities permitted, to meet the President. I prepared myself, and I wanted to be articulate and right. It's one chance in a million. So the President came by, and I was standing in line in the back of the bus, and yeah, that was it. And I'm standing there, and suddenly the President came to after 4 or 5 people, he came up and he said, Sam, I'm glad to have you on the show, and we enjoyed it tremendously, my party and myself, and we're very happy to have had you with us. We hope we'll have the pleasure of having you back again someday soon. And I was so thrilled. I shook the President. He extended his hand. I shook his hand, and then I looked up at him, and I figured he's now waiting, I got to say something in return. I'll never forget, if I live to be 1,000,000 years old, what I said. I looked up at the President, and I went, smart, That always happens. I know it must have happened to other people, right? You meet somebody you want to meet all your life, and you do that, and then by the time you realize what you've done, they've split, they're gone, And the rest of the night is spent doing, but I. You never find them again. It's over. It's unbelievable.